All right, well, hey everybody. I'm really excited to be here today for our Culture Connection video, and I'm really excited to be here with this awesome team from the Beck. So Molly, you want to introduce the team that you've got with us here today?
Sure. I have Cynthia, who is our BEC Education Coordinator. I'm the Community Programs Manager. Mara, who's our BEC Coordinator as well. Our Community Programs Coordinator, Marissa, and Susan, who is a master of all other things at the Beck.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited that y'all joined us today. I'm really excited that we're going to be talking about the three anchors today. So what are the three anchors? Well, I'm really glad y'all asked. So the three anchors, that's one of our primary decision-making tools that we use when we're interacting with customers. And if you can answer yes to all three of these questions, that means, man, you've got permission to go ahead and make that thing happen. So it's about, am I serving with a servant's heart? Am I making it better than when I received it? And am I exceeding expectations? And so if we're doing all of those things, we are contributing to our hedgehog and we're making things better and building community for a lifetime. So what I want to do now is get some stories from you all. Because we've come out of kind of an interesting time period with the pandemic. And so I think y'all have some really cool stories to share with us on how you leverage the three anchors to pivot and adjust what you do to serve the community. So can y'all share some of those stories with us?
During the pandemic, the question that really guided our programs wasn't so much verbatim, reciting the three anchors and implementing those in our programming, but how can we still be of value to taxpayers during this time? How can we prove to the community that how can we surprise them with something awesome and kind of be undeniably valuable, even if that has to look different? And in addition to the BEC programs, which won awards for the innovation, and the creativity during the pandemic, the farmers market and community gardens were part of that too, that really didn't miss a beat and were one step ahead of the other farmers markets in the region and services like them. So.
Yeah, so for the BEC's, the Biodiversity Education Center's programming, two of the programs that we really focused on was our Eco Explorer visitor program. Before the pandemic, everybody could come on in, explore the theme and the artifacts that we had on the tables and in our welcome center. And the other program we focused on was our Wild Days, which again was an indoor program. So for Eco Explorer, we ended up turning that into an educational to-go kit. And so we figured, well, let's take those stations. We had stations set up indoors in our education hall, and we transformed them and took them out onto the trails. It allowed for social distancing. People can walk the trails and be outdoors and explore nature and still learn about that natural or environmental theme as well.
Well, I remember you saying, I guess the first day that you did the Eco Explorer program, about you had a line.
Oh, yeah.
People were so excited to get out and see what we could offer.
Well, we had so many people that I ended up calling Cynthia. I was like, Cynthia, I need you to come in and help me, please, but no, it was really great. Yeah, the numbers for the Eco Explorer just blew us out of the water.
It exceeded our expectations.
It did. It really did. It exceeded our expectations.
And something really cool about those programs too is you guys have learned, and looking forward, you can kind of take aspects from that and implement them into the future. That we've just kind of found better ways to do things. So it's been really cool.
Absolutely. Wild Day was just how we did things before Cynthia and I came on board, and we never really thought to reimagine the program, and this forced us to do that, and it turned out even better than we expected.
Fortunately, my team gives me the opportunity to develop some programs that we can take out to the trails or use for explorers, to the point I know some of the children's names, and you see them running down our sidewalk to come get their eco kit. And we have one little family, have two sons. They were showing us one of their butterflies that we didn't think was going to make it. So they were out at the playground, and then we see him knocking at the door, and he had the little butterfly in his hand and it had died. So just tell him, that he didn't die by himself, and just kind of comfort him. And so he very stoically went and placed the dead butterfly in our butterfly garden and talked about, the food chain and stuff like that. So that story just touches my heart and really makes me want, the reason I'm here is to keep those relationships going.
The Coppell Community Garden, they had a 6,000 pound increase from the year previous due to they have a greenhouse now, but also it was really a great connection because all of their produce goes to MetroCrest services, and they had about, I think, a 300% increase in how many people needed their services. So it was a really amazing way to kind of see it come full circle with these amazing volunteers contributing to these programs that really do make a big difference in our community. And the farmers market as well was a very safe grocery option for a lot of our families and our citizens in our community. So I mean, it was really great to even have a small part in those programs that are so appreciated and so valued by our community.
So it was really cool to see, how behind the scenes work can kind of impact these. You don't always know how far your impact will go, and we got to see that a couple times during the pandemic with volunteers kind of taking things a step further, and then the impact continuing to grow without us, which is a good feeling.
It's our volunteers embodying the servant's heart.
Yes, exceeding expectations.
It's a beautiful thing. It goes both ways. And so to me, that's just a great testimony of that, we're all here for the right reasons, and that's why it works.
Yeah.
Well, I know we can probably spend all morning because y'all have a lot of great stories, and I mentioned earlier that you guys are a primary touch point for the public in terms of how much interaction y'all have. So I know there's a lot of stories, but I do want to thank you all for joining us today to talk about the three anchors. Hope all of you at home have enjoyed listening to some of the stories about the three anchors, and we hope you join us for the next edition of Culture Connections.